We interrupt our regularly scheduled programming for the following special report.
Good evening. Approximately 7 minutes ago at 6:53 p.m., the Space Needle collapsed.
It was supposed to be a joke, but in the end, no one was laughing.
This is not good.
A lot of people wanted us fired.
This is not good.
20 years later, Steve Wilson and John Keister still feel a little guilty about the prank they pulled live on April Fool's Day.
So many people called 911 that it actually shut the 911 lines down.
The police were not happy with us. The city was not happy with us.
It all began a week before April Fool's Day, when the writers of Almost Live learned they'd be doing a live show on April 1st.
It was on April Fool's Day, April 1st, so it's like you want to acknowledge that it's on April Fool's Day.
Someone suggested, well, why don't we just do a thing where it looks like the Space Needle has fallen down?
We went to the art department and they cut and paste, they put together these great shots of the needle that had fallen over in the buildings.
One of the things we realized right away was that if we used one of us or someone that was recognizable on the cast, that people would know immediately that this was a joke.
We basically hired an actor who played the anchor.
When the piece was finished, second thoughts began to creep in.
When I looked at the tape with Bill Staten, who was the producer, I got this pit in my stomach. I thought, this looks like it looks really real.
We showed the picture to the program director, and he said, well, you can do it, but you have to put a banner that says April Fools.
So with management's blessing, the show went live on the air.
Information at this point is incomplete. We do know that injuries are minimal. Fortunately, the needle was nearly empty when the accident occurred. A maintenance man who was working on the lower level has apparently been taken to Harborview's emergency room for minor injuries.
Within minutes of the airing, the phones started ringing.
I got a phone call from the outside switchboard company that took phone calls for the station, and they said, what have you done? We've just gotten, hundreds of phone calls.
There were people from Eastern Washington, medical people who came over to volunteer.
The stunt made national headlines. After consulting with management and lawyers, Keister was forced to go on the air the following week and apologize.
On April Fool's Day, we broadcast a prank, a phony news report in which we said that the Space Needle had collapsed. Now, we meant this as an April Fool's Day joke. We labeled it as a joke, and we thought that people would take it as a joke. Unfortunately, it didn't work that way.
Though the joke may be laughable now, the Almost Live cast has a little advice for future April Foolers.
Make sure that you do it in a way that doesn't hint that people could be dead.